welcome to this. And yes, before you start typing away, hopefully you actually started listening to the video or watching the video or doing something before you actually, started typing away, being little, keyboard warriors. Yes, I like this better than Bound for Glory. Not a lot better than Bound for Glory, but I did like it better than Bound for Glory because I just enjoyed watching it more. I'll get into that a little bit later with that's part of the stuff section of this video, but let me get on with the review because I know that's what most of you want, is the review, and then you can turn it off when I start talking about other things. So, let's get started. Started off the show, The Miz versus John Morrison, which I thought was a good match, just a solid, good match. The ending did kind of come out of nowhere, but I thought they did a pretty good job of making both guys look good. The Miz going over, I think, is actually probably what was probably needed, and I'm sure we'll see more of this feud going down the line, which is fine by me, because I thought they worked pretty well together, and, they were given time, which, of course, on this pay-per-view, there wasn't a lot of matches, which is good. I usually like the WWE pay-per-views that not a lot is crammed on. Same thing with the TNA shows. The less clutter, the less trying to jam everybody on the pay-per-view is always a good thing. Unless you do like this, where you crammed a lot of people on here, but you had, these multi-person tag matches, which, I do think need to be used a little bit more on pay-per-view sometimes if you just want to cram people on pay-per-views. So, there's that. Then we had the Divas Match. Melina, Kelly, and Gail Kim taking on, listen to me, Michelle McCool, Beth Phoenix, and Natalya. Luckily, the actually talented ones went over. This was an okay match, mainly due to, it would have been actually pretty good if it wasn't for the fact that, for whatever reason, whoever booked this match thought it would be a great idea for Kelly to play, face in peril. Why? I have no idea. That's what they felt like they needed to do. I think they should have just had Kelly go in there, hit her little acrobatic moves, get out, let the people actually work, be in the match. Would have been fine. Then we had the Undertaker taking on CM Punk versus Batista versus Rey Mysterio. I thought this was very good. I've seen some people just thought this was okay. I don't know what they're smoking. I thought this was very good. I was just very into this match. Very fast-paced. Good action. You had a lot of pin attempts. You had guys breaking up. CM Punk played an almost awesome heel during this entire thing, where everybody, he was basically the only heel in this match, and basically he did a great job of being the only heel in this match and breaking up the pins and getting everyone to hate him and all of that. The story, because there was a story to this match, was Batista and Rey were buddies, and being buddies, they didn't want to cost the other one the championship. Kind of like what we saw with Sting and Angle, except that we got to a point where both of them could have, pinned the other one, and they were both like, well, which one of us is going to do it? Because we're both friends, but we both want the other guy to win too, and they didn't know what to do, and so, that led to some little bit of chaos. From there, kept going. Everybody kind of hit their finisher on everybody. We got to a point where Rey looked like he was going to steal a pin from Batista. Batista got mad, threw Rey out onto CM Punk, taking out both of them. Undertaker then tombstoned Batista, and Batista lost, and that led to the end of the match, where Rey and Batista were in the ring. Josh Matthews came out, said, what does this mean for both of you guys? The start of it wasn't very good, but once they started talking, and particularly when Batista just looked at Rey, was sitting there looking at Rey and goes, Rey, I'm going to rip your head off. And he said it just like that, not like, mad, just very kind of calmly, like, I'm going to rip your head off. And then proceeded to do so. It was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I would give the angle 4 stars because it was good. The crowd popped for it. The crowd liked it. I think people had wanted Batista to be heel for a while now. It makes sense, and I guess we're going to get Rey versus Batista, which should be pretty fun, and hopefully we get Undertaker versus Punk, which I'm for that too. So there we go. Then we got Raw versus SmackDown. DX, The Big Show, Cody Rhodes, Jack Swagger, Kofi Kingston, and Mark Henry taking on Chris Jericho, Kane, Matt Hardy, Finlay, R-Truth, David Smith, and Tyson Kidd. This was set up throughout the night. They kept, during the Raw versus SmackDown matches, they kept throwing, to the back, showing both teams. They kind of hinted that maybe Cody Rhodes would turn, and then you had Kofi kind of dueling with Cody Rhodes. You had Big Show come out as well. The match was good. I liked it. It was kind of fast-paced. Everybody kind of got their, they didn't give them a time to tell like a story or have a great, wonderful, match like the tag match we saw at Canadian Stampede, for example. But they did go out there. They did let them kind of have fun. We got to see, most everybody hit their spots. And the end was pretty good. It got kind of crazy. And it looked like Big Show was going to launch Kofi Kingston onto Chris Jericho. And, of course, it didn't happen because Big Show attacked Kofi, laid Kofi out. Then when this was the good part, where Triple H kind of got into Big Show's face, saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're costing us the match." And he popped Triple H with the punch, which knocked Triple H out. He fell, didn't wake up. Oh man, nachos are coming back to haunt me. Came back to was out, didn't get up, sold it perfect for the most part. And Chris Jericho pinned Kofi. That was it. That was the end. Pretty good. Was kind of nice to see. Figured Raw would win, but it didn't. Particularly after Raw got buried on Raw. And we changed up the teams and all that mess. So there we go. Then we had John Cena versus Randy Orton. 1 hour. Was not looking forward to this. Was kind of like after the last two matches, I was like, this might be a long, long, long match. This was actually great. Some people have thought this was excellent, great. I didn't think it was that. I just thought it was great. You had lots of good spots. They told a pretty good story throughout the entire match. There was one spot, which I think was the best spot, where Cena was going for the going for the attitude adjustment. Got him up, and he hit the attitude adjustment, but at the same time, Randy Orton hit the RKO. Pretty awesome spot. Probably spot of the match, I would say. Pretty good stuff, and there was John Cena went through like some glass, electricity blew up. You had a pyro type spot that they tried to set up to no avail. It was done pretty well. You had lots of stair spots. You had a table spot. You had Randy Orton going through one of the walls of the barriers around the ring. Just some pretty awesome stuff. The end was John Cena had Randy Orton in the STF at the end of the match. Randy Orton's trying to hang on, and he tapped at the very last second. I thought that was that was probably my only big problem with the match. I would have much rather have seen Randy Orton just pass out, trying to stay from tapping out, but didn't. John Cena did get cut open here, and then they had the doctors keep looking at him, brushing away the blood. That was kind of weird, stopping the match. That was kind of odd. There was a really good ref spot, which literally came out of nowhere and you didn't see coming, and actually cost Randy Orton the match and not John Cena. John Cena won. I'm sure lots of people will bitch and moan that he won, but he won. It was a really good match, a great match actually, I thought. And overall, I really like this. I would say if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy this. There's nothing bad on this show at all. Almost everything on here is good. I think even the Divas match is enjoyable for a Divas match. The only thing I would say that was not good about the show was the backstage segments with the SmackDown and Raw stuff for the most part, particularly with the DX part of it. When they actually had some story build, particularly, I forgot to talk about that. Legacy came out, beat up John Cena, and then Kofi came out and chased him away with a chair. That was pretty good. You had foreshadowing before that on the show, so that was good. Overall, it was just a good, solid, great. I mean, this is what I would like to see more from everybody. You had good wrestling. Everything was enjoyable. It wasn't hard to watch. All of that stuff. So, big thumbs up for WWE. Like I said, I usually enjoy their pay-per-views the less they put on. Same thing with TNA. I wish TNA would stop trying to cram as many people as possible on a pay-per-view. But, hey, what are you going to do? So, because I know a lot of people are going to ask, and I haven't done a video about it, so I figured I would post it on the back end of this, which would be Nigel's little debut. I think by the time you see this, I think Jared will have one up. Yes, Moral Virus has videos again. Big thumbs up there, and well worth watching. I did watch Nigel's introduction, his debut, on Impact. Really didn't care for Impact that much. I think this is the Impact where I finally figured out what just bugs me about TNA. And it is the production values. It's the fact that who's ever in the production truck doesn't have a fucking clue. It annoys me to no end. Because I watch the shows, there's stuff I look at, and I'm like, what's going on? There's too many camera angles. It's like they try to cram like 8 camera angles in a second. It's just very strange. But we had Nigel debut, which was pretty good. At the end, there was the beatdown with Nigel on Angle, which again was pretty good. That's really where it hit me that the production crew just sucks, because here's Nigel hitting his marks, I should say, meaning he was in his right camera positions to pose to the crowd, for his facial expressions to kind of sell to the crowd, sell to the fans at home of what he was doing, kind of just giving these looks, and the camera angles were either from the side. I mean, you could see his face, you could see what he's doing, but you weren't getting like a head-on, you weren't getting a good look at his face, and it was just like, wow. It's just kind of like, wow. And I don't mean to, like, harp on it, but I think that's what it is. I think that's what bugs me about TNA, is that, more than anything else. I know everyone always bitches about it, but, it's, when you watch the WWE pay-per-view, you don't think about the guys in the production truck, or you even think about the production, unless you see something like a truly awesome, camera angle, or they do some cool thing. Then you go, wow, that was cool. Usually you forget that they're there. You forget that, yes, there's guys back there, changing around on the, doing different camera angles, trying to catch the right camera angles, trying to catch the spots at the right angle. Usually you forget about that and you just watch. With TNA, you don't do that, and I think it's a big problem. But, back on to Nigel. And I am going to call him Nigel. I'm not going to call him that other name, because I don't like the other name. Thought it was a good debut. I thought it set up everything well. And, of course, now we're going to get Kurt Angle versus Nigel at Turning Point, which should be a great match. Should be a good match. I'm not going to call it a great match, because I know that they're doing a match before the pay-per-view. I don't know how many matches, you don't know how well they're going to work together. I think that's what's really going to be telling, is how well they work together. TNA isn't WWE, where they're going to go out there and they're going to work, 15 matches with each other before they get to the pay-per-view. And so they have everything down. They've worked with each other, even though they've never worked with each other before, and they'll be able to go out there and put on, something really great. But I do think it should be very good. I want to see it. That added with what looks to be the main event of Joe and Daniels versus AJ, which is something everyone has wanted to see for a long time. Hopefully they give that time. If they give that 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, that should be a great match, in my opinion. You add that with Motor City Machine Guns versus, British Invasion. Something else I think a lot of people have wanted to see, Motor City Machine Guns going for the titles. That should be good. This is definitely a pay-per-view, and for those of you that don't know, the thought, as has been reported in some places, behind the pay-per-view is trying to give the internet fans, us, something they would get excited for and maybe actually buy and not stream. Though if you watch the pay-per-view, if you watched UFC, and not to get off on a tangent, but if you watched UFC last night, or night before, or the night last night, Joe Rogan had a great comment. Goldberg went into this whole thing about doing basically the FBI warning, voicing over the FBI warning during a fight. He did this during a fight, and Joe Rogan's like, that's new, and he's like, yeah, I know. And he goes, "You can't fight the internet, man. You can't fight the internet," which I thought was pretty funny. Because the whole thing was, you know, people streaming and them telling people, hey, you shouldn't be streaming. It's illegal. But, you know, streaming's pretty rampant. And this is definitely something people have wanted to see for a while. So hopefully, I am correct. Hopefully, like the video I did in the past, people put their money where their mouth is. People go out and order this pay-per-view. If this is what you wanted to see, if this is the type of thing you want TNA to do, and send a message to TNA. I don't know if it will send a big message to TNA. I don't know if it'll work. I've always said, you know, I thought that they should at least attempt this, because there's definitely enough internet fans out there to support, where they should be able to do better on their pay-per-views than what they're doing now. So, there's something. I think that's pretty much it, yeah. But I'm going to order it. It looks, you know, it looks like something I would like to see, so I can tell you just off the top, even if the impacts from now till then suck, which, you know, I'm not big on Impact, but I definitely would like to see some of those matches, so I'm going to order it. I can tell you that right now. But other than that, I think that's all I got to say. So with everything, I'm out. Everybody have a good one. Order Turning Point. I'm sure I'll do a video before then. But have a good one, and with that, I'm out.